Welcome to the Strizzy Report and the Smart Movers Club podcast. If you're 35 years old and older, this is for you. Let's go.
Welcome to the Strizzy Report. I am Strizzy. I'm your host, Stacy. We're going to get right into it. Listen, I had so much fun doing the last episode where we talked about if you're renting, keep renting because you're in a better situation than those looking to buy right now because the market is cray. And also I gave signals on what to expect when the market changes. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, go ahead and listen to it. You could go right to futuretalksmedia.com. This episode is powered by Future Talks Media. Today we're going to talk about building a new community, your post-move integration playbook. Listen, I moved 7 times I always get this backwards. I moved to 7 states, but I moved like 10 to 12 times. In Pennsylvania, I moved like 3 times within Philadelphia. Dummy. I was in Manayunk, Philadelphia. I loved it so much. Moved into a house, then moved into an apartment, then, had a little breakup. So I had to move out of the house, then moved to an own apartment, get a studio. So we moved a lot of times. So I know what it takes to rebuild, find friends. And if you're over 35 and this podcast is for you, guess what? It's harder to kind of find some friends. It's harder to kind of build a community. It's harder to get to know who's your people in a new place, right? When I moved to Memphis, that was a little more easier for me. I mean, I went there with a job, so of course I'm going to cling on to the people I work with, but I was their boss, so you don't want to cling on too much with your employees, right? So you have to step outside of that and step outside of your job. In fact, I kind of frown upon having a lot of friends at work anyway. I don't know about you, but I don't want none of y'all in my business. So this is how you do it. Sorry about that. So we're going to share some practical, actionable tips on how to meet new people, discover new hobbies, and truly integrate into your new community after you've unpacked the boxes. And if you're like me, you got the 1 or 2 box lingering for like 6 months in the back room just because it is what it is. A house becomes a home when you feel connected. At the end of the day, you don't want to feel alone. Now, if you were like me and you move alone to different places, it's a little harder. You're moving with a family. You already got that connection in the house. But if you're moving as a couple, maybe you'll try to go out, meet other couples. But as a single person, if you're moving around, it is tough. It is tough. So number 1 tip is you got to embrace the tourism mindset, right? You want to be a tourist. You want to explore. But still, you're exploring as a resident. You're not exploring just as a tourist and kind of like, oh my God, what's over there? So in Memphis, and I'm going to use Memphis as a big backdrop. I did move to Boston. The thing I loved about Boston was that, there were some beautiful places, right? So I like the Winthrop area because it had the beach and Revere had the water. So I could just walk in a park all day and be okay with that. I didn't really venture off too much in the city of Boston, but it did have the outdoor things that I liked. The traffic, you could miss me with that. But that's why the backdrop will be primarily on Memphis here. So walk, bike, bus around. Memphis, you ain't bussing nothing because the bus system sucks. But you could walk around, find a park, find a nice area where you could just hit the trail or bike even. Get to know your immediate neighborhood, where the local coffee shops, small parks, independent bookstores. These are things that I love. These are often natural gathering spots. It's easy, especially if you have a pet like I did, had my dog. So, the stop talk. Oh my God, how old is she? Oh my God, how old? When they call your pet a boy, it's a girl. They call it a girl, it's a boy. It always happens. And then you could start a conversation. It's about things like that. Farmers markets, huge. I love farmers markets anyway, but because it's a perennial thing, maybe every fall it comes out, maybe the end of summer to fall, every weekend, finding these farmers markets, you could kind of get to understand who's there, what are the type of people, if it's your type of people, if you support local businesses, strike up conversation, ask vendors about their produce, compliment someone else's dog other than them calling your dog a male when it's a female. Simple interactions can open up doors. You know what? One thing that I did was hop on meetups. There's a website, I think it's called Meetup, and, you could actually be a part of a group. Another thing is Toastmasters. Now, I love Toastmasters. It's a public speaking kind of group setting where, you could get your communication to the next level. Did it work for me? Don't know. I'm still saying a lot of oohs, stuttering, okay, when I talk, but it was a great place to meet other professionals and then people that want to elevate themselves, people that believe in self-improvement and building up their own skills in their life. So that's always great. Social media groups that I mentioned, join your neighborhood's Facebook group, Nextdoor, or local Reddit communities. I was like a number one poster in the Memphis Reddit for a while because, I actually went to a meetup because somebody posted, hey, we're going to have beer at this place and, anyone's willing to join, transplants, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I went there and I did. I met beautiful people. Some were transplants, some are in as residents, physicians, scientists, AI, tech, a lot of healthcare folks, young, middle age, older, and it was just good to be a part of a group, especially those that have just moved in as well. So you build a connection almost immediately. Exploring is great, but you also need to create opportunities for interaction. So if you be proactive, this is tip number 2, be proactive and intentional. We got to know that. Say yes more than often. Me, I'm a no person, right? Because I love protecting my space, protecting my boundary, protecting my time. But when you move into a new space or a new neighborhood, new state, new city, it's often better to just say yes more often. Often better to say yes more often. See, I need to go back to Toastmasters because this ain't working. If a neighbor invites you over for a casual drink, maybe it's a barbecue, even if you're tired, try to go pop in, say hello. A new colleague suggests lunch, take them up on it. The small yeses snowball into bigger opportunities, into meeting long-term friends there. Join a class or a group. I tried in Memphis. I went to, what is that thing? CrossFit. I died. I couldn't walk for, I think it was like 3 days. My entire body was done. But I said yes. And I ended up meeting some cool people that's into that. I should have been into just walking in the park before I did that. But I went all in and I did it. So it's good to just say, yeah, build a rapport with people. And of course, I'm going to mention again, the platforms like Meetup, local community centers, libraries, volunteering. Volunteering could be a perfect way, especially if you're into that. If you're that type of person, it's already rewarding for you to do that. But it's also an excellent way to meet like-minded people who care about similar causes such as you, whether it's an animal shelter, food bank, local environmental group, you're working towards a shared goal which fosters a connection. Finding hobbies can be fantastic, a way of meeting people, but if your old hobbies don't quite fit your new environment, are you looking for something new? Because I was riding my bike in Philadelphia, like it was a perfect bike city. In Memphis, if it's almost like you look awkward riding a bike outside. I didn't see anyone riding a bike. I actually sold my bike there because it wasn't really a bike friendly area. So how do I get out of that hobby, or how do I continue it? All right, so tip 3 is reevaluate and reinvent your hobbies. Explore new interests. Always wanted to try pickleball. Not me, but I love looking at them. Like when I walk my dog, I see them playing pickleball. It's usually older folks. I love older folks anyway. So You could hike. Is there maybe a local hiking trail you've been eyeing? Your new location might offer unique opportunities. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because I wrote a book on it. The Comfort Killers, baby. Leverage your existing passions. If you love reading like I do, find a local book club. If you're a runner, look for a local running group. I'm a walk jogger. Walk more than jogging. If you're into gaming, maybe there's a local meetup for gaming. So everything that you do, think local sourced, right? Locally sourced, unique local craft beers. When I first went there, I was interested in purchasing a new car. So I went to, I don't know where I went. You know, they always have in every place a long ass strip that has all the car dealerships, right? I think that's like that in every place you live. There's always that one long ass street that has all the car dealerships. So I went there. And, as I'm talking to the gentleman, the salesperson, he's like, hey, you into beer? There's like all this local brewer. This the local brewer. We over like 200 beers and you could try them. And I'm not into beer, right? But I should have said, yeah. I said, no. I was like, yeah, no. If you would have said whiskey now, come on, sir. But yeah, just, locally sourced beers, food, traditions you could learn about and engage with. So there's a lot of different things beyond organized activities. There are everyday ways to weave yourself into the fabric of your new community. And tip 4 is be engaged, be a regular. Don't be as regular as I was at the local Outback Steakhouse, having so many damn reward points I didn't know what to deal with. And it's almost like I ate too much. I was there every night, Jack and Coke, a steak dinner. It's not too good to when it's there, when it's at the Outback, yo. All right, so anyway, just be a regular and engage with local businesses, shop local, attend local events. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, I'm going to give you another tip. Building community is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Practice patience, persistence, and self-compassion. It takes time. Don't be down on yourself if you got a half a friend that you only saw once, then you called them to meet up again. They didn't want to meet up, or they just been blowing you off. Listen, you're an adult. This is what it is. If it one awkward coffee date or one unreturned text, keep putting yourself out there. Some connections will stick, others won't. A lot of people, just think about it. It was easier for us as kids or in high school to make friends because we were all in high school. Most of the people that are our friends are from our class, people that we grew up with on the block. We don't have that type of engagement anymore. So now we actually have to ask questions. Before it was, hey, you play Nintendo? Yeah, I play Nintendo. Do you play Nintendo? Yeah, I play Nintendo. We're best friends. Hey, do you ride a bike? Yeah. Do you want to ride a bike? Yeah, we're best friends now. It ain't like that as adults. So you don't need to replace your old friendships. New friendships will have their own unique dynamics. So be kind to yourself. Offer. Don't expect. I got blew off a couple of times. They had an outdoor movie theater. I really love that type of vibe. I went once with someone, then I asked to go again, and she was like, yeah, right, blew me off. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep it moving. All right, so that's it. That's all. Did I stay under 12 minutes? Nope, can never do that. That's all for this episode of the Strizzy Report. If you found these tips useful, please share this episode with anyone contemplating or undergoing a big move right now. And as always, for more resources and insights on smart moving, visit my website, Strizzy Report. You could sign up for the Smart Movers Club. It's a newsletter I send out personally every week. I tell you where to go, what to know, and what 100K can get you. It's all about the data. But this episode is for Future Talks Media. And of course, we're bringing that rebel shit back. Peace.
This podcast episode is powered by Future Talks Media, futuretalksmedia.com.